Hello and welcome to the No Pricks Allowed podcast with your host, Aaron Buchner from Cactus. I'm Wendy McConnell. Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Wendy.
How are you? You're already giving me very much a hard time. So.
Ooh, yeah, it's one of those days. You already goofed up on the intro. We'll
Yeah.
just let everyone know you had to record it again. And yeah,
Thanks, Aaron.
we're talking over each other. You know what? We've been working together for so long. It's now that bicker back and forth. It's like, yeah.
I appreciate you throwing me under the bus and letting everybody know that I messed up on the intro. That was very necessary. So, let's dive right in, okay? Because I'm feeling the love today.
You're feeling. I love you, Wendy.
Feeling the love.
I goof up enough times. Like, we threw out a whole podcast because I screwed up. Like, there. Does that make you feel better? Like, we'll just tell everyone yeah.
What I will tell you is you are a real thorn in my side today.
Yeah, I am a thorn in your side. And that's what we're going to talk about today is thorns in your side. That's what we're going to talk about today. I figured it was a good
transition. That was good, right?
it was a great transition. So the whole brainstorm of why I wanted to go down this route is I've been dealing with a lot of financial plans lately, which is great. Like, I've had a huge influx of people coming in and saying they want financial plans, and I keep running into the same issues again and again with these people. And it's issues that not even younger generation, like 30, 40-year-olds. This is happening with people who are in retirement. The same issues are happening or people who are just trying to get into retirement. So it seems to be this ongoing issue that it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. There's this thorn in the side that's affecting you.
Okay. So what is it?
So what is it? Well, there's multiple. Now, I'm going to go deeper because a lot of times you'll get financial advice and they'll talk about, the basic thorns to your side, the little things you need to do, like set up an emergency fund or invest money or pay off debts and get a budget. Where I'm going to go deeper than that stuff. Most of these people did do those things, but they could have went a little bit deeper. So this thorn in your side is that one that's really deep, and like, when you get a sliver in your finger and you can't get it quite out and you have to wait for it. Or
I'm not loving the visual,
no, you don't like
Aaron.
that.
All right, okay. So we have the emergency fund. We're saving, but there's something else that we should still be doing.
There's other questions and other things you should be doing to help go. And the first one is, what are you paying for? So a lot of people, they talk about what's the cost. It's a big thing now. Everyone's asking me, which is wonderful. They're looking at me when they say, Aaron, build this financial plan for me. What is the cost? They want to know how much they're paying for this item for a financial plan. But they forget to ask, well, what are you getting for it? Because you're going to pay regardless, one way or the other. If you work with a financial advisor who does commission, you're paying a percentage on commission. You do fee only, you're paying for that plan. You do some of the people who do budgeting or a course or a mastermind group, you're paying for it in the end. It's going to cost you something, but what are you actually getting out of these courses and out of these financial plans and out of these advisors who are managing your money? And I think people need to take that step back of, yes, ask how much it's going to cost, but then what do I get out of these things? Because we've talked about it in the past where it's been financial planning is the Wild West. There is no rules of what a financial plan is. Like, I go on social media and I see people talk who are money managers who just do budgeting and they're money coaches, and they talk about financial plans. But I know they're not giving a financial plan. They're just using that term. So you need to dive deep into what are you getting out of that plan for that money you're providing?
And only you can determine if it's worth it from that point, right?
Exactly, because they're all structured different. And you get to people who just do a course and you pay $500 and they just hand you PDF templates and maybe videos and you just watch it and that's it. And you can do financial advisors where they'll build just an investment plan. So they'll just do a strategy for how do you invest your money, pick investments, you pay a commission. And then you get the other ones, which just add more layers. You get people who do financial plans and they'll build a beautiful financial plan for you, but then you're off to do it yourself. And then there's other ones which I also do, is the financial plan, but that we do a monthly subscription. So the costs are lower, but then I'm there on an ongoing basis to make sure, did things get done? Did things happen? Because I've built plans for people and we say, go get a will. We've talked about it a lot. I hope you have your will now, Wendy. Nope, there it is. Exactly. And I say, go get a will. They're like, we'll do it. And then I check up 6 months later, like, hey, have you done the will? And it's like, no, I haven't done the will yet.
In my defense, I never said I would do it. I knew that wasn't on the forefront of my plan.
So I think it's a lot of people need to understand, what are you actually paying for? So what is the value you're getting out of working with that individual, the course, the financial plan, the investment strategy, whatever it is, what are you getting out of it? So I think for a lot of people, what's that solution is just ask the question, what do I get? Ask for a breakdown of what exactly am I getting out of this plan? Not just, oh, this is how much I pay, and compare two people and say, well, this one's 1,000, this one's 5,000. I'm going to go with 1,000. It's like, well, you might not get as much compared to the 5,000 in the end.
Right. Well, and that makes sense.
Yeah. That's one of the big thorns in the side.
So you actually did help me out with the planning. And I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or like after it was over or whatever, but I do now think of more buckets in terms of saving money. Where one is kind of like, okay, here's the money for the boat, here's the emergency fund, here's the money for putting towards retirement. Like I kind of have started doing that. So do I get an A+ for that?
You get a brownie point for that. A brownie point. I don't do A+. You get a brownie point. Yes, brownie points.
I don't want a brownie point. I want a brownie.
Now I'm hungry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I want brownies.
How deep does the planning go?
And so I think a lot of it with is just even planning. It's a lot of people, they fly by the seat of their pants. So they just decide to kind of, oh, this is what I'm going to do. They just make that decision. And I say with people, oh, they're just going to invest, but they don't know, what are they investing for? Is it for, similar to the buckets, is this retirement? Is this a house? Is this a boat? Is this an emergency fund? Which one? And even goes further, they wish they didn't do it in the end. So we get to people where they're near retirement or they're getting close to retirement, and we're looking at the investment strategies, and the question was like, well, why did you pick this one? Why is it in this? And they're like, well, I don't know. I just thought that was the right move. If I put it into this account, because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And it's like, well, there were other accounts and other funds that may have performed better or may have been a better tax advantage for you. Maybe we should make those changes now, but they then have that remorse in their head of, oh, I should have started 10 years ago, asked those questions before I opened the account and just started putting the money into it.
I agree. So that's the only planning we have to worry about? That's it? We're done?
No, and it's prioritizing. So it's even that people get into that prioritizing. What is important to them, their lifestyle and their goals. They put a larger focus on one thing over another that they then wish they didn't do. They wish they hadn't bought the house when they did. They wish they put more towards the retirement, or they wish they should have waited on buying the boat and bought the house first, but they bought the boat first. And now things are delayed. And it's that rather than sitting back and taking the plan and saying, what are my priorities and what should I do? You need to take that step back and say, what are my goals? Like we've talked about before, what are the goals? What are priorities? And make that list of these are the things I want to do. And this is when I want to achieve them. And these are the ones that are the most important to me. So you stay on track when you are planning.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes. Sounds like a plan. Sounds that's planning in a nutshell, you know?
Exactly. I find that the next one is kind of funny. You're saying a thorn in your side is not talking. I don't have that problem. Neither do you.
No, I talk too much, and it's a bad thing as a financial advisor who talks too much. It's not a good thing.
Well, you should be talking to,
but I should be
your clients.
Educating. But right. At the same time, I have to learn, I have to listen. As a financial advisor, I need to learn to be quiet and listen to my clients because I'm building a plan based on their priorities. It's not what I say is the best for you. It's what you say is best for yourself. So listening is one of the things.
Who should we be talking to then?
Wow, this goes nice and deep. Anyone and everyone. So I look at this of not talking. It's the issue of initially talking to your spouse about money and about your goals and about your priorities. We get people who come in who are couples, and they come in and they're on different wavelengths in terms of what they want to do. One has a huge focus on retirement, and their focus is, okay, I need to get to age 65, make sure I have the money, I want to retire. And the other one is, well, no, I don't want to retire. I want to go on these vacations, or I want to go buy this house or do these renovations. Like, that's their priority. But the other one's focusing on retirement. So a lot of it is talking to your partner about, well, what's the most important, and getting on the same wavelength, because it's not fun for me to be that counselor. I'm not a counselor, but air quotes counselor, where I have those questions of what do you want to do? And you talk to each spouse about what they want to do, and they're on different wavelengths. And then they're looking at each other going, you want to do that? I had no idea you wanted to do that.
Right.
It's dangerous.
Well, I guess at that point, though, that's good. Then you tell them you need to figure this out.
Yes. So I would tell everyone, talk to your partner, talk to your spouse, get on the same wavelength. But then it goes further than that. With a lot of people, I'll bring up the question of, we're in that, you are as well, and I'm getting near it as well, is what they call the sandwich generation, where parents are retiring, you've got kids growing up, and you now have to worry about, well, are your parents going to be okay, or are they going to rely on you in the future? So even you need to talk to your kids and your parents and say, what is going on? So if for myself, it's like, I want to know my parents are okay, or are they going to rely on me, or going to have to rely on moving into my basement, and now I'm going to have to change this office into a bedroom so they live with me. It's like, that's a huge financial change to my lifestyle, which is okay. I love my parents. They can come live with me, but I need to be aware they're coming to live with me at that point.
Well, the problem is you have to have other people open up at that point, and that can sometimes be a problem. I know my parents personally did not want to discuss their finances with me. So what do you do in that position?
For me, I'm a straight shooter, so you just have to have that conversation. You don't have to look at your parents, and maybe don't make it a direct to the parents of like, I'm worried about you because it's going to affect me. It's ask your parents, like, how are you financially? Are you okay? Have you talked to an expert, and do you have concerns about your own retirement? So make it about them rather than yourself. Don't come to your parents and say, I need to make sure that you have enough money because I don't want to take care of you. They're going to get upset if the first thing you say is, I don't want to have to take care of you, or I need to know if I'm going to have to babysit you. They're not going to be happy. But if you take it from that compassionate side of, are you okay? Are you financially well off to survive through retirement, through everything that can happen, to be financially well off?
I don't know. Maybe you can say it. That's what I say to my husband all the time. I said, if you don't start getting healthy, I'm going to kick you out, because I'm not taking care of you when you can't move because you sat in your chair for the last 20 years. I'm going to throw you into the lagoon.
You have a lagoon? Wait, you have a lagoon by you?
I have a lagoon. It's not like the one in Gilligan's Island, but I'm aging myself with that one. Have you watched ever Gilligan's Island?
I know it. I know what it is. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But yes, my husband's always, I mean, like, I'm not going to take care of you. That's not what I signed up for.
So you can, if you have that relationship, you can have that back and forth with them. When you look at the grandparents, if you can go to it, I do it to my parents. I look at them and go, I say it to my parents, I'm like, am I going to have to take care of you? It's like, I need to know, because I'm going to have to change my retirement plan, but I need to know. And then even if you are near retirement and you have kids who are coming out of school, it's have the same conversation with them of, where are they financially? Because they have goals and buying a house, and you might want to help support them, but they may not be able to afford a house. Houses are expensive, and cost of living is expensive. So you just may need to know, like, wait, are the kids going to have to come live with me? How do I manage that? How do I help them achieve their goals? So you need to have those conversations, not just with your spouse, but your grandkids, your parents, your grandparents, whoever it is. Have those conversations back and forth. So, and be honest about it. Don't hide. I know people don't want to talk about money, but I'm here talking about money, but be honest and know what's happening.
So even if there's things that you don't necessarily want to divulge, it's important to divulge them.
It's important to know. Like, it's important to know, and it's like my parents, they're getting old, so it's like I've had talks about them about their wills and their estates, and am I an executor on this estate? What is your full estate, and what's going to happen? Because I just want to know what, not potentially what could be coming to me. That I care less about. It's I want them to go spend their money and have fun with it, but I need to know what are their wishes. So if something happens, I'm the executor. I gotta help put that money out there, but I need to be aware rather than be shell shocked if they passed away and go, oh yeah, by the way, here's the will, figure it out as the executor.
Right. Yeah. That seems to be the way of the old. Hopefully it's going away, right?
Yes, very much. The last one, so I said, this is the other one, is not asking why. I think it's a lot of this. So if you guys, a lot of the stuff is just talking. You figured out. It's like it's asking questions. A lot of this is just talking to people and not keeping it chill. But it's not asking why, because it's the simplest and easiest thing you can do when you meet with a financial advisor or a planner is why? Why is this the best choice for me? If someone says you should invest into this account, like the tax-free savings account, and that's where you should put the money, it's ask them, well, why? Why is that the best choice? What about the RRSP? What about my group plan? Why is it smart to do this versus pay down my debt? Why am I doing this? And you got to figure out the pros and cons. It's where is this financial advisor or money coach or financial planner, where their thought process and everything, and why did they choose one versus the other? Because I'm building the plan, but I'm building the plan for you as the client. So it should be based around your goals, your objectives, your fears, your anxieties, your regrets. That's what I'm building it off of. And you need to understand why you're doing one versus the other. Because the last thing you want to do is 5 years later or every year come back and go, well, why did I invest in that? Why did we pick this again? I don't remember. Why does it do this? Why did I do that? Because even we've had one client who just came on, and it happens where they were with another financial advisor. They got instructed to do some things that I look at based on their priorities and their goals and their objectives and their situation are not the smartest moves for them. And I just even asked the client, well, why were you put into these? And he's like, I don't know. He had no idea why. He didn't understand why they were. It was just, that's what the financial advisor told me. And I'm like, you need to understand both sides of the coin. You understand the pros and the cons to each and how it's going to help you achieve the goal. And I love when clients ask me, well, why would I do this? Why is this important to me?
So, Aaron, I want to make the most amount of money possible with the least amount of risk. What do you suggest?
Doesn't exist.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Why does it exist? You just told me to ask why. Why?
It's three steps. You can't have high risk and you can't have high returns with low risk. It doesn't work that way. You can get low risk, low return, high risk, high return, but it's finding that balance between the two. I'm sorry. I can't get you 10% return guaranteed ongoing. Not happening.
Well, I'm not happy. So
I'm sorry.
This interview is over. I'm moving on to the next one. See yourself to the door, Aaron.
Thanks so much. So I guess it's the end of the podcast. Wendy's clearly had enough of me today. I guess next week I'll be joined with someone.
So start asking why is basically, the bottom line here.
Yeah, ask why, and it's asking the why so you can understand why does this make sense for you? Why is this putting me in the right plan? Like I said, you've prioritized your goals to say, I want to retire. I want to save for a boat. I want to go on vacations. Why are they in saying this fund, this account, this amount of money? Why are we prioritizing this over this? Why? It's just have a clear understanding of what you're doing. Don't just let a financial planner or financial advisor take control.
Or even just ask them, what are the other options? What happens if we do this instead? Just tell me the differences that you see.
Yes, exactly. And you should get those pros and cons of, well, this is why this makes the most sense versus this. But this is the pros and cons for this account. This is the pros and cons for this account. Ultimately, you can make the choice. If you feel, what I said isn't right, and you say, you know what, I prefer this. Okay, we change it. And we're like, we're going to go this route. And now I understand a little bit more about you. You understand a little bit more about me, and you understand your plan. And we know it's going to help you achieve success if you can understand it and have and it's built around you and your goals.
So a lot of it is talking, communicating, asking, planning, focusing on goals.
Yes, and I think the key thing is when the thorn on the side is you need to ask questions, you need to talk, and you need to talk with your partner and what's important to you. Talk to yourself, what is important to you. Talk to your financial advisor about why am I doing this over this, and why am I what am I paying for, and what am I getting out of it. A lot of this just stems from it's deeper than just set up an emergency fund, invest money, put this, but it's well, why am I doing all this? Where am I going? How does this help me achieve it? Just ask the questions, and it's a simple thing to just ask that question.
Okay. All right. So if you don't get enough of Aaron with this podcast, there's a chance for you to get even more of him.
You can get more of me. I have now started up a weekly email, not a newsletter. It's an email, short and sweet, little bits of information here and there that you can get from me. So you can sign up for this new weekly email, get a little bit of humor of me if you don't get enough here. It's available at prickfree.com/sign up. And we'll have that link in the notes, but it's prickfree.com/sign up.
And before we go, we have to know who is on the rock t-shirt today.
Hey, I actually don't have a rock t-shirt. They're all dirty. I know.
What?
Maybe that's why we're off today. I didn't wear a rock t-shirt today. No, it's Empire Records. Well, if you know the movie Empire Records. It's close, but it's close. It's the movie Empire Records.
I used to there was an Empire Rock Club where I grew up. So that's kind of...
It's close, but it wasn't, the ones I wanted to wear were dirty. I wore them earlier this week.
You failed me.
That's why we're off today. It all makes sense. I must wear a rock shirt every time now.
Well, yeah. All right, Aaron, thank you so much. How do people get in touch with you if they want to ask you some more questions? How do they go about doing that?
Absolutely. So besides signing up for my weekly email, which you will get an email directly from me, you can find me on prickfree.com, and I'm on the social medias as well. So always a little bit of information there, and always love to talk to people through those things. It's fun times.
It's a pleasure as always, Aaron.
We have fun. We have fun.
Okay. Keep telling yourself that. Thank you for listening today. Please like, follow, and share this podcast with your friends. Until next time, I'm Wendy McConnell.
Thank you for listening to the No Pricks Allowed podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at www.prickfree.com or give us a call at 613-876-9899. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Cactus. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. The contents of this podcast do not constitute an offer or solicitation for residence in any other jurisdiction where either Aaron Buchner and/or Sterling Mutuals is not registered or permitted to conduct business. The opinions expressed are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Sterling Mutuals, Inc. Mutual funds provided through Sterling Mutuals, Inc. Commissions, trailing commissions, management fees, and expenses all may be associated with mutual fund investments. Please read the prospectus carefully before investing. Mutual funds are not guaranteed, their values fluctuate frequently, and past performance may not be repeated.